maybe if you take a step back, I think there's another, perhaps even bigger underlying problem to this. Maybe because I was looking at it, I'm wondering, why do people assume that we are giving instructions that, you know, if your partner is sick, you stay home. If your husband says stay home, and there's no two ways about it. No one's giving any instruction. And I'm thinking about it. I think the issue here is that there is a perception of Islam as a series of rules and regulations.
Correct. That's the problem.
Wait. Hang on. I haven't finished talking about the problem.
Sorry.
So I think you've got to think about it. We should maybe shift our perspective. Instead of seeing the religion as a series of rules and regulations, we see it as guidance.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a distinct difference. There's do's and don'ts. I mean, the secular context is like your constitution, right? Your penal code, your this act and that. Like that's the law. What you can do, what you cannot do. What are the punishments? What are the rewards? What are the punishments? But there's also something called guidance, and guidance is told to us through stories.
Correct.
And things that happened for us to perhaps be inspired to gain something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Quran is actually very clear about it.
Yeah.
About this thing lah. Right at the start, you know, Hudal lil muttaqin. This is a guidance.
Yeah.
For the muttaqin. And then even in Surah Al-Fatihah, Ihdina, guide us.
Yeah.
It's not like give us rules. Dia macam, okay wait, but I didn't qualify. Ihdina siratal mustaqim.
Apa maksud ihdina?
Ihdina means guide us lah.
Guide us.
To the siratal mustaqim. So it's not, betul lah kan? Right?
Yeah.
So let's be clear on this. It is not a book of do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Okay, it is not a book of halal and haram.
Yeah, correct.
I think
There's
how many times only
inside,
the word haram is mentioned how many times only in the Quran, right?
Correct. It's just berapa persen je.
Yeah. In fact, there are, okay, let's be clear on this. Of course, there are legal rulings. Right, there are muhkamat, there are certain rulings, but it's only a very small portion of the Quran, and most of it is guidance through stories, guidance through historical interactions between Nabi Musa and Fir'aun, between Nabi Yusuf and his brothers. It's like if you are put in that situation.
If Islam is not sent to us as a guidance, then why did Allah send it to us? Like, what is it for? It's not just a book to be left on the shelves.
Put another way, I think that it still comes down to, again, perception of Islam. And I think Muslims believe that Islam is the way of life, right? And you want to be guided through life.
Yeah, correct.
You don't want to be told what to do and what not to do, specifically in a halal haram terms and all that lah. You want to be guided because when you face certain situations, like, you know, a family squabble or something, and then you can recall some of the lessons that you learned.
Yeah, in the Quran.
Yeah. So I think it's quite important to distinguish between rulings and lessons.
Anyway, I just want to add on. Kita backtrack sikit lah. No, I want to backtrack the week hadith.
Oh, masih ya?
No. Tak, as in I want to backtrack because there's this man
Okay.
In Tarim.
Okay.
He challenged the weak hadith. Have you heard of this?
Wait, there's a man living in Tarim now. Dia sidetrack sikit
Ni pasal I baru teringat. There's this man in Tarim. He wanted to challenge this specific weak hadith. Okay, so you know there's a hadith that says if you tidur time asar, if you sleep during asar, you will be mentally unsound.
I heard of it.
Junun apa something like that. So
it was said this is the.
It was said that this is a hadith and it was weak. Tau. When I see some website also, there are quite a number yang criticize this hadith.
So it says that if you sleep after asar,
there's effects.
That you have some mental issues.
Something like that. Okay, so in layman's terms, something like that. Okay, so this man wanted to challenge this hadith. So because it's a weak narration, so he doesn't believe in it. He rejected it fully.
Okay.
So he purposely slept after Asar every single day for 40 days just to prove a point.
Okay.
You see, these are the lengths that some people would do to prove a point. Okay. So after 40 days.
Tapi that one macam okay dah man. Macam mocking, macam okay lah, continue.
Yalah. So he wanted to prove lah. So after 40 days, he went out and he said, "See, I slept after Asar for 40 days, nothing happened to me." And
Okay.
you know when he was doing that, what happened?
What happened? Kena sambal peti.
He was naked.
Oh.
He was naked while he was saying that.
Oh, so he went out nakedly.
And say, "See, nothing happened to me. Nothing happened to me." Yeah. So I feel that's why
Where
like
you get the story from?
this one is another issue. Like when we tell this story, like it's a story that happened to a fellow friend. It's just something that happened to a fellow someone in
someone
Tarim.
witnessed lah. Okay, I see.
Yes. Where's your source? Where's the credibility?
No, I mean,
certain things it happened to the awliya, certain things it happened to the ulama during our time, certain things it happened to the student of knowledge in Tarim. Yeah, these things
happen. A lot of
happen.
strange things happen in.
Yes, these things happen. Certain bumi kan, macam bumi Kinana lah. They say macam it's a very
secret.
Secret kind of bumi. Like macam Tarim
It's a secret place lah.
It's a secret place kan. Macam certain things that you say, certain things that you do kan, you will see the effects macam immediate tau. Okay, last time I didn't believe in this lah. I mean when I was young, because we were all in Singapore, these things didn't happen to us, right?
So now that you're old?
No, it's not that I'm old, but because I went there and I witnessed certain things, then I'm like, wow, this is, I mean, it happened lah. It really happened. So macam, and then when I heard stories from Yaman, kadang-kadang macam benda macam tak masuk akal lah. Macam like orang boleh jalan atas air, that kind of thing. Macam tak logic lah. But then macam it happened. Macam, and I can believe that because I saw certain things, not that extreme, walaupun it's not that extreme, in Mesir itself. So macam in Egypt. So yeah, these things happened, and macam it was said that okay, I've never been to Tarim before lah. I would love to, but I have a lot of sisters around me, even in-laws yang not only study there, stay there. So macam it was said that it was common for the students there, orang Yaman, to mimpi Rasulullah. Common tau. Tu mimpi Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam datang dekat mimpi dia, dan macam for example kalau dia sakit kan, that time ada this girl ada tumor. Then I mentioned this story before and it was mocked by certain people. This girl, she was a lady in this day, current age. So she has a tumor at the back.
Orang minta where are the sources?
Where are the sources? It's just something that happened to a friend.
You cannot blame them also. You cannot blame them because they also don't.
I'm not blaming them, but I'm saying these things happened. And
but you know, it's quite hard for someone living in this day and age to
correct. I mean, I was like that also.
Believe such things because I mean, we're confined to this
science,
era,
logic and all that. So dia macam kalau tak logic, tak scientifically proven, you can't believe it, is it? But Allah is more than science, you know. Allah can do anything.
Okay, science has its place lah, but
I know science has its place, but macam logic ke, this girl ada tumor, then he recite so many selawat in a day, thousands and thousands of selawat in a day, then Rasulullah SAW came in her dreams and did some surgical procedure in her dreams, and when she woke up the tumor is gone.
This is what she dreamt lah. Okay.
It's tak logic kan, tapi it happened. Allah's power is above all the science. So this is something that mungkin no,
I can understand why people find it difficult to
I understand also
reconcile such things. I mean and I think if you take a step back again, it comes down to how we see knowledge lah. It is some sort of an epistemological problem. I think it's macam how do you come to know that something happened or something is true, or where are your sources of information from? Okay, so I think I teach science, and science is largely
I know.
it's largely evidence based.
Yeah.
And we come to know something because we conduct experiments.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
there's processes, falsification, all these things. So that is one way to know something.
Yeah.
But we have to know that is not the only way to know something,
Yeah.
because there are many things that science cannot explain.
Yeah.
For
Correct.
example, like something as simple as dreams. People dream things every night.
Where does that come from?
Yeah, what is the science behind it?
Yeah.
What are the molecules and the interactions and the processes that take place? No one really knows actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. The last time I checked,
Psychological ke tak ada?
I mean, you cannot explain it in terms of a bunch of
Okay,
atoms colliding.
understand.
Okay,
Understand.
so we have to know that science is not the one and only way of knowing things. In Islam, we believe in other means of knowing things. Even things as like dreams, like wahyu, revelation, even like inspiration. All these things are not quantifiable or tangible, and because of that, we cannot. We have to know that our knowledge of things is not limited, right? It's not limited to just that way of believing things, and I think this is important. And it's not just for Islam. I think in general, how we come to know something is true or not, we have to acknowledge that there are various sources. Yeah. So I think that's a central. In fact, this is also in the Quran, right? Tahu tak surah apa?
Tak.
Alladzina yu'minuna bil ghaib. So you got to believe.
Yes, correct.
In the ghaib,
correct.
right?
I've heard of it.
Your belief is not limited to the things that you can see.
Yeah, but
or
also things that you cannot
or
see.
you can test. But there's also other things that you cannot see, lah.
Yeah, I think this is something that I want to remind student of knowledge of this time and age, especially because kita dah modernized with science and technology. We need to remember and not forget that Allah is above all these things.
Wait, modernization is not wrong. It's okay.
I didn't say it's wrong.
I didn't say you say it's wrong.
Okay.
It's not wrong, but you got to still know
that Allah is above
that
everything.
That Allah is above everything, and science, technology have their places in the world, in this modern world today.
Yes.
But they're not the only ways of learning new things. So I think this is something that seekers of knowledge have to understand. The various ways of receiving information. But at the same time, it's also about when the information comes to you, how do you respond to it? Okay. So for example, I think this is a large part of it is due to character. Because once upon a time, maybe when I learn something new, there's always a tendency to I know this already and so on. And I think that might border on some kind of arrogance. Like you don't want to listen because you feel that you know. And then if this arrogance macam develops, then it comes to a point where you feel that your way is the only way.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, there are some kinds of sciences where there's only one way lah. Like for example, there's only one Pythagoras theorem, for example, and so on. But certain things, there are many valid opinions.
Correct.
And when you have some kind of arrogance, you would tend to reject. Okay, so some things there's only one opinion, but we must also be mindful and acknowledge that other opinions can also exist.
Yeah.
Because people have regard for their teachers. And this reminds me of a story actually. This is have you heard the story of this is zaman Rasulullah SAW cerita pasal when the Muslims went to see Bani Quraidah. Okay, so Bani Quraidah is a Jewish tribe in Medina. So one day a group of Muslims were sent by Rasulullah SAW to go to the Bani Quraidah punya headquarters. Okay, so it was said that the instructions by Rasulullah SAW was that you go to Bani Quraidah, and when you pray asar when you reach the Bani Quraidah headquarters. Okay. So the Muslims went. This is a group of Muslims, so they went there. But when they were on their way there, so Rasulullah SAW didn't follow tau. Yeah, he didn't follow. So when the Muslims were on the way there, halfway through, the waktu for asar came in.
Tak sempat nak sampai
they haven't reached Bani Quraidah, but the asar timing already came. So these people were sahabas. They are people who, the moment azan, they want to solat. Okay, so some of them wanted to pray. I said we have to pray now because the time for asar has come in.
And it's not good to lambatkan waktu salat.
And we don't want to delay our prayer. Let's pray now. Of course, maybe there's still time to reach there and pray, but we want to pray now. But another section of the group said, no, Rasulullah SAW said, we pray when we reach Bani Quraidah. Not now. So we're not going to pray now.
But sempat lah. When they reach Bani Quraidah, it's still Asar timing.
Yeah, wait. So there was a disagreement amongst the group. Some wanted to pray Asar there and then, and some wanted to go to Bani Quraidah and then pray there. So what happened was, half of the Muslims prayed Asar, and then the other half said, no, we're going to wait, we're going to follow what Rasulullah said and pray over there.
Okay.
So clearly, the same instructions led to two different practices, two different actions. So who's right? So later when they reached Bani Quraidah, the rest of them went to pray. Then after that, they met Rasulullah SAW and they asked Rasulullah. They said, okay, this is what happened. Some of us prayed, some of us didn't.
Siapa betul?
So who's right? Right? Who? I mean, it probably wasn't an ego trip or who's right and so on.
Yeah lah, just want to find out lah.
They just want to know. So it was said that Rasulullah SAW said, both of you are right. Because this is a situation, right? Both groups did their own ijtihad. They did their own assessment. They did their own consideration. They discussed. And they arrived at different conclusions. And having done so, both conclusions are valid. So here's an example where two different, not only different, two contrasting actions are both deemed to be correct.
I see.
Right? So you cannot just say that my way is the one and only way. It's quite arrogant to say that.
Yeah,
it's quite arrogant to say, oh, you all are wrong for sure because this is the way to justify it. Of course, certain things are black and white, right? Certain things we know lah that there's only one way. But there is also room for disagreement. There's also room for diverse views, different opinions. So very clearly, there are the same instructions, the same set of instructions was interpreted in two different ways, led to two different conclusions. And later, both were affirmed to be correct.
Yeah. No, I think it's also macam, okay, if you see how the four mazahib were formed, maybe we can do an episode about this. But if you see how they are formed, and why they differ in certain things, I believe it's because of what they prioritize. Because some scholars, they are more towards macam literalistic approach. Macam tadi kan, there are two sets of companions. One literal approach, macam Rasulullah said, solat dekat Bani Quraidah, solat kat situ. That is literally.
So
they are scared. Oh, kalau Rasulullah tak cakap, dia orang tak boleh nak buat. And then another one is macam, they prioritize the practices we have been doing, macam we've always been praying on time. So they prioritize the practices that they have been doing. So it doesn't mean Rasulullah said.
And they also say that even in doing so, it is not really conflicting with what the Prophet said.
Yeah.
Because maybe he expected us to reach there on time.
Yes.
And we didn't.
So I feel that it's similar to the four mazahib because it depends on where they come from. Some lived in Medina.
The four mazhabs.
The four mazahib. The four mazhab. Some lived in Medina. Some lived in Iraq, which is like far away from Medina. So they prioritize different things. So both accept each other.
I think yang mazhab we talk about it another time.
Yelah, so both accept each other. So what I'm saying is, these two companions pun ada different priorities. They prioritize different things in their ijtihad. Yeah, so tu je lah. InsyaAllah one day we can discuss about this.
The same set of instructions can lead to two different conclusions depending on your assessment of the situation and how you assess, how you grade the various kinds of knowledge sources. And I think this is something to be mindful about as people who are continuously on the path to seeking knowledge, insyaAllah.
Okay, let's end with the dua lah. May Allah bless all our efforts in seeking knowledge. May Allah make us more respectful and humble in receiving information and knowledge lah, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah, Amin.
This episode is sponsored by Amarullah LLC.
With Amarullah, you get skilled advocacy and practical solutions.
Contact 9711 8078 for any legal matters. See you next time.
Assalamualaikum.